Hello, welcome to another episode of Supercharge Your Finances. My name is Easton Price, a financial planner with Prosperity Wealth Planning, and today we'll be talking about saving strategies for life and retirement. What we'll cover today are the importance of an emergency fund, where to save, how to save, starting early and how powerful that can be, and some resources available to those looking to get started. So I like to start with this slide, which is essentially the basics of saving. What we have there at the foundation of the pyramid is our values. Values drive everything we do. So before we can really understand how we want to save or where we want to save, we first need to understand what do we value? Where are we trying to go? Because once we understand our values, we can start to create goals that correspond with those values. After we have our goals in place, we can then begin to prioritize our savings. So it all starts with our emergency fund. What is an emergency fund? Well, it's exactly as it sounds. Something goes out in your house, AC, you lose a job, you have an unexpected health issue. This is for all of those what ifs that could happen in life. Where to hold the emergency fund? Instead of just using a traditional checking or savings account, we recommend you hold this in a high yield savings account or a money market fund, something that's still very liquid, but that's earning a bit more interest than what you could at your bank. Now, how much? This is kind of a it depends answer. What we recommend is anywhere between 3 and 6 months of essential expenses. So this is going to be rent or mortgage. These are going to be car payments. These are going to be groceries, the things you can't live without. For every dependent you have, child or otherwise, add 1 month. And if you're not sure where to start, try the 50-30-20 rule. Essentially, 50% of what you make is going to go to your needs. These are going to be the things that you cannot live without. 30% of what you make is going to go to your wants. These are going to be things like entertainment, eating out, fun things like that. 20%, so the balance is going to go to future you. You're going to pay yourself first and add that to your savings. Here's some fundamentals: build, eliminate, utilize, and excel. So first you've got to build that emergency fund. I'm going to kind of belabor that point because it is immensely important that you have an emergency fund in place. You've got that in place. Your next priority is going to start to eliminate high interest debt like credit cards. Third, you're going to max out any employer matched retirement accounts and then start to look to other tax advantaged accounts like an IRA or the HSA. Lastly, Excel. Any excess savings, these are where we're going to want to throw into a taxable savings account for some extra flexibility. Here's kind of the hierarchy, so going one step further than the last slide. There is free money on the table if your employer offers any sort of match. So be sure to take advantage of that free money and at least contribute up to that match. Next, you're going to want to consider the Roth IRA, the HSA, or a traditional IRA, depending on eligibility, income limits, and what's available to you. Lastly, consider that individual or joint brokerage account. This is the taxable account. Now, depending on your priorities, this actually might be moved a little bit higher up on the list to provide that extra flexibility. Here's the power of compound growth, or lack thereof. So this is an extremely important concept in the realm of finance and investing. And so here we're going to assume we've got a lump sum of money given to us, and for 25 years it stays stagnant or sits in our checking account. Well, you're going to have the same amount in 25 years that you had today, but your purchasing power is actually going to go down because inflation eats away at it. Here's a beautiful picture of what compound growth could and should look like. That same sum of money that you get, you invest over 25 years, so same time period. We're assuming some rate of return here. And over those 25 years, that amount only grows and provides more purchasing power at the end. Lastly, here is a calculator that you can use to calculate your compound growth potential by plugging in your starting amount, how many years you have to save, the rate of return you expect to see, and any additional contributions. And then that interactive chart will move on the right as you change those inputs. Here's some pre-retirement tips. Position your portfolio using the bucket method. Start to think about retirement in terms of 1 to 2 to 3 year increments and how quickly you'll need this money and what it's for, and then start to reposition your portfolio accordingly. Consider a Roth conversion ladder. This might not make sense for everyone, but for those who retire a little bit before they start taking Social Security, in those gap years where income is a little bit lower, consider doing Roth conversions as it makes sense. Also keeping in mind your marginal tax bracket as well as your Medicare premiums or IRMA. You can then maximize your catch-up contributions, and instead of doing this out of your primary income, using a bonus or side hustle income to mitigate the strain on cash flow. Focus on eliminating certain debts like your mortgage or student loans, as this will just add peace of mind going into retirement. Begin building a separate transition savings account to fund those early retirement years. This is not to be confused with your emergency fund account. And lastly, leverage an HSA as appropriate. Putting it all together. Start or top off your emergency fund and verify your employer match, adjust contributions accordingly. Ensure your investment allocation is appropriate given your priorities. Use online calculators, which we have a list of resources here at the end of this presentation to start and get excited about savings. Call us. We'd be happy to walk you through a retirement projection and run various scenarios for you. And lastly, stay the course. Consistency is key when it comes to saving strategies. There's no silver bullet other than staying consistent. And lastly, here's some sources for you to check out on your own time. Thank you, and we'll see you again soon.
Past performance is not indicative of future results. Investments involve risk and, unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Prosperity Wealth Planning, LLC is a registered investment advisor located in Irvine, California. Prosperity Wealth Planning may only transact business in those states in which it is registered or qualifies for an exemption or exclusion from registration requirements. The information in this video should not be construed as a substitute for personalized individual advice from Prosperity Wealth Planning. Information is for educational purposes only and is not intended to make an offer or solicitation for the sale or purchase of any specific securities, investments, or investment strategies. Prosperity Wealth Planning is not a CPA firm or law firm and does not provide specific tax advice, legal advice, or estate planning services. You should consult with a qualified tax professional or attorney for tax or legal advice before implementing any strategy discussed herein. The opinions expressed by our firm or its supervised personnel herein are subject to change without notice. The opinions referenced are as of the date of publication and are subject to change due to changes in the market or economic conditions and may not necessarily come to pass.